Welcome back to our videos on the Leadership Nexus Assessment and Role-Aligned Leadership. In the previous video, we began our examination of the Leadership Nexus Assessment and the roles and characteristics associated with each of the 5 levels. In this video, we're going to look at the effective use of questions. We have come to recognize that effective leaders are not defined by the instructions they give or by the problems they solve. They are defined by the nature of the questions they ask. Let me say that again. The most effective leaders are the ones who know the right questions to ask of the right people at the right times. Why does this make them more effective? Because it helps them challenge the thinking of everyone around them. It helps them help others grow. It brings others' talents to the forefront where those talents can be leveraged to solve problems. It utilizes the best of everyone around them and encourages everyone to be engaged in solving problems, not just following orders. Since each leadership level has a different focus, the questions asked at each of these levels will differ as well. One of the values of the Leadership Nexus is that it helps leaders identify these essential questions. At the transactional level, level 1, the most important questions asked are also the most fundamental. They tend to focus on the basic elements of who, what, when, where, and why. What is broken? Who broke it? What do we do next? These are the questions that enable basic problems to be solved. Without them, essential work doesn't get done. Things don't move. Transactional leaders are constantly asking these basic questions because this is what resolves their most pressing problems. Effective transactional leaders want the people around them to be active participants in the work so that things get done when they need to be done while making sure that they have each other's backs. As a result, transactional leader questions will often be designed to bond them with their co-workers. What do we need to do? Is this a problem we've seen before? What did we do with it then? Will you help me with this? What did our training teach us about this situation? Who was responsible for this? What are the tools we need to fix this? Whether they are functioning as formal or informal leaders, transactional leaders are interested in the basics. This is what makes them so important on the front lines. When transactional leaders move up to the managerial level, their role changes. Since responsibility at this level is now divided between focus on the well-being of the team as well as on getting work done, it also means that the questions they ask must be different. Level 2 managerial leaders find themselves asking questions about the growth and health of the team. What can I do to help you with this problem is a perfect example. This question sets the expectation that the team member will be solving the problem, not the manager. It also says the leader is there to help the team member use his or her own physical and intellectual resources to take care of the situation. What resources do you need? And what do you need from me to help you? Are other examples of managerial leader questions. Since the manager is often not the person who will or should be handling the problem, ensuring that the team members have the resources they need demonstrates both trust in the team member's ability to do the job and that the team member can trust the leader to provide the necessary resources while staying out of the way while they do it. This is what engagement truly looks like. Both leader and team member actively engaged in solving a problem, each using their unique resources and abilities and trusting each other to play their individual parts. Level 2 managerial leaders are also responsible for looking ahead and preparing their team members for future problems, so another set of questions focuses on prevention and preparation. For example, how can we prevent this next time? What can I do to help you with this situation? Are we staffed appropriately? Do we have the necessary budgetary support? What is the basic strategic direction I'm hearing from my one-up that I need to pass on to my team? How do we blend these new initiatives into our current processes? How do I make sure that my team is ready for this? Budget, direction, staffing, communication. These are all elements of managerial leadership. Shifting their questions from what they need to know to the well-being and success of the team is what defines an effective Level 2 leader. Because Level 3 tactical leaders work at the intersection of strategy and tactics, their vision is constantly moving between communications from above, the strategic direction of the organization, and below, how staff is handling these strategic initiatives, projects, and directions. A tactical leader asks larger, more probing questions than leaders at the previous two levels. Why did this problem happen in the first place? What were the root causes of this situation? What can we change in our policies and procedures to avoid a recurrence of this problem? These types of questions are best asked after a problem has been solved, since they are oriented toward the future rather than the immediate past. Effective Level 3 tactical leaders recognize that the timing of their questions is important. Asking expansive questions too early, and energy is prematurely shifted away from problem solving. This can be confusing to staff members, causing them uncertainty around their own priorities and how to meet them. Ask them too late, and the incentive to change disappears. Out of sight, out of mind. Successful tactical leaders are focused on discovering how a process or policy can be changed in order to shift the team from short-term problem solving to longer-term strategic change. How does this solution align with our overall strategic direction? What can we do to strengthen our efficiency? Is it possible for us to work in new ways that reduce or eliminate waste or ineffectiveness? The strategic direction of the company requires us to focus on revenue enhancement over the next 6 months. What do we need to change in our team processes that will help us achieve this goal? These questions are designed to help staff maintain a focus on the larger issue of how current actions will lead to a desired future. When tactical leaders get pulled into the weeds, they tend to ask questions that are designed to solve a present-day problem rather than a future one. By presenting these kinds of questions to team leaders, the tactical leader challenges the team to grow in problem-solving ability, creativity, insight, and forward thinking. Is this an easy shift? Absolutely not. But it is the kind of approach that challenges teams to grow. Strategic leaders are ultimately responsible for the direction in which their organization, or their portion of it, moves. Thought time, meetings with other strategic leaders, reading about and watching how markets move are all key tasks for Level 4 leaders, and their questions are designed to stimulate this kind of thinking. A strategic leader asks large questions that focus on where the organization is headed over time. These questions help the organization make sense of the direction in which it is moving, as well as how everyday tasks can be aligned to accomplish this. For example, if we rethought our approach, what could we do differently to change how we accomplish this task? How can we realign operations to more effectively achieve our strategic goals over the next several years? Strategic leaders also recognize the importance of challenging relationships to reflect a focus on the future. For example, how can we positively influence other leaders within the organization to respect our value? If we implemented this solution, who else would it affect, and how would it affect them? What initiatives do we need to undertake this year to help us achieve our organizational goals? These are the types of questions that ask, and sometimes demand, that team members shift their focus from the daily reaction-oriented quest to get things done to the much harder questions. Why are we doing it this way, and how can we break this down in order to create something new? Transformational leaders are disruptors. By their very nature, transformational leaders want to build larger, more interesting organizations. Their questions are designed to create a disruptive strategic direction because they recognize that this disruption is what causes new things to happen. Examples of these types of questions include, Is there another approach that would enable us to solve more than one problem at a time? Why are we doing this work in the same way it has been done for years? How can we use emerging technologies in our company and in our industry? Level 5 questions challenge existing modes of thought. They attempt to move people into dramatically new ways of thinking and working. They also communicate the vibrancy and aliveness of the transformational leader. Without this, the future can be a pretty frightening place. With it, all involved will have somewhere to go that is exciting and alive with possibilities. This type of question sounds like this. Who do we not know that we need to get to know? Are you able to see where my vision could take us, and will you go there with me? Transformational questions focus on the invisible. They ask team members to see things that can be difficult, even frightening, to see. But this is what makes transformational leaders who they are. They challenge all of us to see beyond ourselves into a new and different future. So, pulling all of this together, posing the right types of questions at every level of leadership is one of the keys to a strong, role-aligned leader. The questions at each level are intended to challenge the thoughts and actions of those who are on the receiving end. This is what helps them grow. And, just like we saw in the previous video, all of the questions at every level are crucial to the well-being and success of the organization. It's just that they differ as you move from level to level. Thank you for your participation. In the next video, we will examine the concept of risk as it impacts each level.